to Murders and Minivans, where the coffee is cold, the kids are wild, and the crimes are absolutely unhinged. I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Tally. Let's talk murders, motherhood, and why we trust absolutely no one.
I could definitely talk to her and try it out.
It's so much easier than driving to
make excuses. Well, because we are going to,
We yapped. The people can believe us that we yapped. We were just talking about our competition.
Yeah, it's dance competition.
Season, yeah.
For our 7-8-year-olds. 6, 7, 8. 5, 6, 7, 8?
6, 7.
6, 7. Sorry. I had to top up my teeth because I'm an old lady today. I did so much laundry. It was great. Used the clothesline, much to your dismay.
Mm-hmm.
What else? This is kind of boring old lady banter today, I guess.
It is. It is a very boring old lady weekend.
It was, yeah. We're just carting our kids around.
Pretty much. Just a kid weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's it. I don't even have any interesting things.
No, I was gonna call back to next weekend, but that'll be next weekend's content.
I don't even know if we're recording next Sunday.
That's fair.
It depends.
I think we put tentative anyway.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Yeah.
See how I feel on Sunday. But speaking of my birthday weekend,
uh-huh.
I knew about this case, and then when I started researching it, I'm like, a lot of this happened on my birthday.
That's funny.
Yeah. Well, actually, the crime did.
Coincidence.
I know. So yeah, I mean, we just started.
There you go. Meant to be.
So March 27th, 1995. I was 4.
Ooh. Some of us weren't.
No, I know. It was in Milan, Italy on a Tuesday morning. It was a very overcast northern Italian morning that feels like it could go either way, but it was cold, gray, and still. Via Palestro is one of those quiet upscale streets in the heart of the city where the buildings look like they belong in a different century and the trees are perfectly maintained and there's just no people because the people who live and work there that like it that way. It's just very quiet and quaint. Not in our small town way, just I picture it way better.
Yeah, it's Italian.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, checks out.
It could be complete garbage. I don't know. I've never been there. But in my head, it is paradise.
Yeah, I agree.
So it feels like a neighborhood, which again is sort of the point when your office is basically a palazzo and you're Maurizio Gucci.
Wow.
I'm going to try my hardest with the pronunciation.
Okay.
I'm going to try really hard. Please, nobody yell at me. So Maurizio arrives just after 8 a.m. So he's 46, he's fit, and he's well-dressed, obviously. Mm-hmm. And by basically everybody's account, he's in a good place. And he had just sold his stake in the Gucci empire 2 years earlier for $170 million.
Wow.
He has a beautiful apartment in Milan. He has a girlfriend who he is genuinely happy with. His daughters are growing up, and he has plans. And he has more money than most people will ever see. And he has, for the first time in what was an extremely turbulent adult life, something that actually looks like peace. Quick question. Do you know what Gucci is?
I know it is a brand of fancy things.
Good enough.
Okay.
So he gets out of his car. He walks towards the entrance of his office building. And a man, a complete stranger, steps out from wherever he was. And he shoots Maurizio Gucci 4 times. Mm-hmm. He was dead before the ambulance even arrived. This murder went unsolved for 2 years. When investigators finally made an arrest and announced who had ordered the killing... I'll try that again. When investigators finally made an arrest and announced who had ordered the killing, Italy was stunned. The person who ordered it wasn't a corporate rival. It wasn't the mafia, and it was not an elaborate financial conspiracy. It was his ex-wife.
Ooh.
Dun, dun, dun. Mm-hmm. Oh my god, my throat, sorry. It hurts so bad.
Wasn't there a movie, House of Gucci?
Mm-hmm.
Was it in any way factual?
Kind of. I'll touch on it a little bit.
Oh, okay.
It's so bad.
Okay.
As I tried to watch it when it first came out, and I did this episode, I'm like, I should watch it to get in the headspace again. Yeah. Kind of get through it.
Is Lady Gaga in it?
Lady Gaga.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. You said that interestingly.
It was a show. I wonder if it was somebody in Modern Family said Lady Gaga. And so now I always call her Lady Gaga.
I don't think I can get that to stay in my brain. Maybe.
Oh, God, it like won't leave my brain.
That's funny.
Okay. So the story of how we get there, from a little leather shop in Florence in 1921 to a hired hitman on a Milan sidewalk in 1995, is one of the most genuinely insane dynasty stories I've ever found. We're talking family backstabbing so vicious that it would make Succession riders blush.
Oh.
Also, have you watched that show?
What show?
Succession.
Oh, no. I didn't know it was a show.
Everybody talks about it. I haven't watched it either.
Whoa, okay.
But everybody says it is like incredible.
What's it about?
Family dynasty.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the whole show?
And like the backstabbing that like goes on. It's fictional.
Oh.
Were you impressed or not impressed?
Well,
by
I
that?
was.
Okay.
Until you said it's totally fictional.
Well, I think it's like based off of a family, but I have to fact check that.
Oh, okay.
So it would make them blush. Tax evasion, forged documents, a psychic who doubled as a murder broker, and a level of wounded pride so intense that it crossed a line that most people, even in their darkest moments, don't go anywhere near. And a woman who, when asked why she didn't just let the divorce be the divorce, reportedly described $860,000 a year in alimony as a bowl of lentils.
So,
I'm like damn.
Left. Yeah.
Yeah.
Peasants.
Yeah. So let's talk about the Guccis. To understand the murder, to really understand it, you have to understand the family. And to understand the family, you have to start at the beginning, which is 1897 in London. And a 16-year-old kid from Florence named Guccio Gucci, who has decided that the names in here are top tier, who decided that he wants more than Florence can give him. Now, Guccio Gucci was born in 1881. Florence at the time was still very much a city defined by its artists and culture, leatherworkers, silversmiths, craftspeople who had been perfecting their trades for generations. It was a beautiful city filled with skilled people making beautiful things. But Guccio, the son of a straw hat maker, which is not nothing but is also not the trajectory that he wanted, left all of that behind at 16 and went to London. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
I like gargled with salt water. And thought it was like fine. Like do you ever get those like white spots, like stones on your tonsils?
I don't know. I don't really look.
Don't do it.
Okay.
I used to get strep all the time as a kid, so I
okay.
like obsess over it. And then every time my throat hurts, I'm like, it's strep. And so like when there's stones in the back, I will rinse them out.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
But it's like on fire right now.
Aw.
I'm gonna power through it.
So ear infections.
Oh yeah, you were an ear infection kid, weren't you?
Yeah. So they said, because I was like, why are my ears like sensitive now? I thought I had like problems, and I got my hearing tested after I had Emily. I'm like, I think she screamed, and now I can't hear. But like, it's all in your head. But they're like, it's scar tissue, so it's more sensitive.
Oh.
So I'm like, of all the things, that's why
It gets worse as you get closer to menopause.
which is great.
Sorry
That's
to ruin
great.
your life
Thanks.
with that. Back to business.
Go on.
He gets a job at the Savoy Hotel, one of the most prestigious hotels in the world, and his job is a bellhop carrying luggage.
Cute.
Which sounds like a footnote, but it's not a footnote. It's the single most important job that he ever had.
Oh.
Because working as a bellhop in the Savoy in 1897 means that you are surrounded every single day by the wealthiest, most sophisticated, taste-conscious people on the planet. These are the people for whom a hotel stay is a lifestyle choice, not just an accommodation. They are traveling with Louis Vuitton trunks. They are wearing made-to-measure everything. They have opinions about their luggage the way most people have opinions about their children. And Guccio, for years, is watching all of it. What they carry, what they wear, how they move through the space, and what quality means to the people who have had enough money long enough to develop actual standards. So he's not just working, he's actually studying these people. Okay, this is going to be a tough one for me. He goes on to work for Compagnie des Wagons Lits.
Oh,
God, that's not even
what
close.
that could be.
Compagnie des Wagons Lits. Oh my god, I am uncultured swine.
Just tell us about it, because I have no idea what you're saying.
It's an upscale European rail travel company.
Okay.
More wealthy travelers, more immersion in how luxury actually functions in practice. And then he returns to Florence and works for a fine luggage maker called Franzi. God, I love that name. Franzi.
Interesting.
And in 1921, he opens his own shop. A place on Via della Vigna Nuova selling imported leather luggage. And then he builds a workshop so he can make his own. He has 60 artisans, and so like no longer a shop at that point, it's a house.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And then history starts throwing things at the Guccis. So we're going to get into history. Like history.
Okay.
1935, Mussolini invades Ethiopia. The League of Nations slaps...
Why? Why Ethiopia? What's so great about that?
I don't know, it's before my time. It's 1935.
Yeah.
So the League of Nations slaps a trade embargo on Italy. Leather becomes scarce. For a business leather becomes scarce. For a business built entirely on leather goods, this is potentially catastrophic. But Gucci adapts. He starts working with raffia, wicker, linen, jute, and bamboo.
Wow.
He develops entirely new materials and patterns, including what becomes the Gucci rhombi motif and a new tanning technique they call Cuo Grasso, which becomes a trademark. Products invented out of necessity that turn into defining Gucci signatures.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So then World War II hits, and leather's again unavailable, and then Gucci starts making canvas bags, but canvas distinguished by a double G monogram and a red and green stripe. Not because it's a creative choice, because it's all that they have. And it becomes one of the most recognizable product identifiers in fashion history. Something to me is like darkly poetic about that, because every time the Guccis were constrained, they became more inventive. Like every obstacle made the brand more distinctive, and the scarcity didn't like shrink them at all.
Yeah, no, I think that's really commendable.
Yeah.
Because they were so easy. Well, and I think that shows a stronger company or a stronger drive, because they were willing to adapt. Like they didn't admit defeat like so many people do, and they're like, oh, I'm a victim.
Yeah.
Like if anyone deserves to like play the victim card, I would say
anyone impacted by like current events.
Yeah, well, yeah, other than the rest of us. But I feel like Mussolini being slapped with the trade embargoes and World War I, pretty good excuses for why your business failed. Like I feel pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
But for them to continue to just adapt, I think is commendable.
Yeah, and like you don't find this at all anymore.
Not right now. There's not the quality anymore too either.
And like a lot of companies, like, and also it's like, well,
not as resilient, not as quality.
And are we not like our company's not as resilient because life is harder? I don't know. Or
are we all lazy, not just
probably
the consumers?
It's probably that. We're all so lazy. So Gucci died in January of 1953. But he had distributed shares to his sons, Aldo, Vasco, and Rodolfo. And what comes next is their story, and specifically it's Aldo's story. So Aldo Gucci is the reason that Gucci became Gucci in the way that you know it. His father built the foundation, but Aldo built the building. He had been pushing for expansion since he started working in the shop in 1925. He convinced his father to open the Rome store in 1938. After the war, he ran with a global vision in a way that Gucci never had. In November of 1953, months after Gucci died, Gucci opens its first U.S. store on 5th Avenue and 58th Street in New York.
Wow.
A second New York location, opens in the St. Regis Hotel in 1960. A third on 5th Avenue and 54th Street in 1973. Locals started to call the area Gucci City, which is an absolutely extraordinary thing to have people calling a stretch of a city. Mm-hmm. Like, what an honor. So, 1961, London and Palm Beach get stores. 1963, Paris near Place Vendôme, which is like the center of the luxury universe. Mm. I didn't know that because I'm a poor.
Yeah, a poor. That's a good way to put it.
A poor. 1968. They opened the store on 347 Rodeo Drive in Los Angeles. That I know, because that's on Real Housewives. Tokyo in 1972, and then Hong Kong in 1974. Wow. So then by 1968, Gucci's managing 10 stores in the U.S. and selling 84,000 moccasins a year in the U.S. alone. President John F. Kennedy reportedly called Aldo Gucci the first Italian ambassador to the U.S., which is not a small thing.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah. The brand was already dressing Jackie Kennedy. Grace Kelly has a florist scarf designed specifically for her. Everybody in Hollywood is wearing Gucci. The brand that made canvas bags during wartime because leather was rationed is now a global symbol of luxury.
Cool.
And underneath all of this spectacular success, the family is a disaster. Oh. A funny thing is about family dynasties is it's by the third generation typically that things fall apart.
Oh, okay.
So like take your family for example. If your dad started a business when Scott and if your dad started a business, you took it and then you showed S&E the ropes, then they would ruin it.
I can see that because they didn't create anything.
Yeah, exactly.
They're just trying to run the business and how they think. They have no perception of how you got there. I can see that. Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine.
I think I'm going to die today.
That makes perfect sense.
Yes, it does make perfect sense. And of course there are dynasties where like that doesn't happen, right? But more often than not. So the Guccis had what I can only describe as a genetic inability to get along. Sorry.
No. Do you just stop and make more tea?
No, I'm fine. Oh, I woke up in like the middle of the night. It was like 3 a.m.
Oh, no.
I was like choking on something.
Oh.
It was like phlegm or something. It was disgusting. And then Brian was asleep in Charlotte's room because she'd woken up. So I like woke up choking and like this. And I'm like, I'm alone. I'm like, I'm like, this is how I go. Okay. So once Guccio distributed shares amongst his sons, decades of disputes followed. Who has more control? Whose branch of the family has more votes? Who gets to make decisions? Vasco dies, and his shares get redistributed, shifting the balance. Rodolfo's side of the family and Aldo's side of the family are in constant tension. Aldo's sons, Roberto, Giorgio, and Paolo, are involved in the business and they have their own ambitions and their own conflicts. Paolo wanted to be a designer and he was convinced that he had the talent for it. But most people that worked with Paolo were not convinced.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That makes sense.
So then there's the generation below all of that. Rodolfo's son, Maurizio.
Okay.
That's kind of how we got here. So Rodolfo took a different path from his brothers. He had an actual career as an actor, not a movie star, but a legit actor working in Italian cinema. He appeared in a number of films under the stage name Maurizio di Ancora. He married Sandra Ravel, also an actress. And then their son, Maurizio Gucci, was born in September 1948 in Florence. So Maurizio grew up in the shadow of the Gucci world, but wasn't, from what's described, particularly driven by it early on. His dad was distant and withholding in the way that men of that generation and that class often were. Every time. I don't think you can hear it. I think like in the last episode that happened.
I think we missed it last time. Like I don't that it showed up.
The fashion house was always the backdrop. It was always there and significant and the thing that gave the family its identity and wealth, but not necessarily something that Maurizio embraced immediately as his future. He studied law. He was very bookish. He loved to sail. And he was quieter and less aggressive than his Gucci uncles and cousins. In 1970, at a party in Milan, he met Patrizia Martinelli. I'm obsessed with that name, Patrizia.
I've never heard that.
It's so nice.
Okay.
Just flows.
Patrizia.
So Patrizia was born in December 1948 in Vignola in northern Italy. Her background is actually more complicated than it appears on the surface because she was born out of wedlock and raised by her mom, Silvana. When Patrizia was 12, her mom married a wealthy entrepreneur named Ferdinando Reggiani, who adopted Patrizia. In one moment, she went from just like a modest upbringing to being the daughter of a very rich man with a new name, new home, and new social position. That matters because the experience of arriving at wealth and status from the outside and of knowing what it looks like to not quite belong and then suddenly being positioned at the top shapes how you understand your place in the world. And Patrizia, from everything we know, was very aware of status and position and the difference between having access to privilege and being secure in it.
Okay.
She was also very beautiful, sharp, and relentless. She does look like Elizabeth Taylor.
Do you have a picture of her?
Yeah, I'll show you. Not Maurizio. Patrizia Reggiani. It's going to show me Lady Gaga. That's her on her wedding day. I looked at so many pictures of their wedding. Iconic.
Ooh, yeah, she's very pretty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, true.
And like in the movie in the House of Gucci, like Maurizio says like, "Oh, you look like Elizabeth Taylor," and like he calls her Elizabeth Taylor all the time. And I'm like, "Oh my god, you do look like Elizabeth Taylor."
Yeah, I agree.
But also, like, is that the thing? Is like when you're pale and you have like dark hair and green eyes? I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe.
Hard to say.
Where was I? Okay, so when she met Maurizio at that party, he was heir to 50% of the Gucci fashion house through his father, Rodolfo, and she knew exactly who he was and what his name represented. Rodolfo hated her immediately.
Oh, no. Okay, so this isn't going where I thought it was going to go.
Right. He told Maurizio explicitly that she was a social climber who had nothing in mind but money, and he threatened to disinherit his son if he married her.
Wow.
But Maurizio said, okay, and then he married her anyways. So they got married in October of 1972, which tells you something about Maurizio, that when he wants something, he just gets it.
Yeah, he just does it.
Mm-hmm. And he didn't always want the right things, or depending on your perspective, he wanted the right things at the wrong times.
Okay.
Rodolfo, despite his objections, gave the couple a luxury penthouse in the Olympic Tower in New York, which, like, he protested the marriage, but he gave them a penthouse in, like, a very prestigious building.
That's still your child.
Oh, rich people are wild to me.
Yeah.
That's like Tori Spelling.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Like, what? She made the news, and by news I mean tabloids.
I used to watch her show. Mom watched it.
Yeah, it's so great.
Is it still going?
No.
Oh, okay. How you said that, I'm like, wow, I've missed a lot.
No. But she essentially was like broke, and she like got kicked out of her house, and I don't want to say like she was homeless, but like she was like pretty poor.
Oh,
and she had like 9 kids, and she like had to either apply for government assistance. It was like something like that.
Wowzers.
And then like you think like, how the hell do you not? Because like the Spelling family is loaded, but they cut her out. There's some drama there, and I can't remember what it was, but they cut her out of the will. I think when she married Dean.
Dean, what's his name?
Yeah.
And then they divorced?
They're still together, I think.
Okay.
Put a pin in that.
Okay.
I'll come back to that.
To be determined.
So yeah, so they got a penthouse, even though the dad was like, Rodolfo said, horrible sham of a marriage. In New York, Patrizia absolutely flourished. She threw herself into the social scene with that kind of energy and instinct that made her genuinely formidable. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
Okay. She started showing up everywhere. Parties, fashion events, the right restaurants, and the right circles, and she became friends with Jackie Kennedy.
Ooh, good for her.
Onassis? I know that's her like actual last name. I should call her Jackie. Jackie O.
Yeah, we all know who you mean. Even me.
Even me. She was exactly the person Rodolfo had accused her of wanting to be, but she was good at it, and she was doing it in real time. Then they had 2 daughters, Alessandra.
Oh, see, I like that one.
So pretty.
Yeah.
And if that was my name,
I would say the whole thing all the time.
all the time, and I would never let you call me anything else.
Alice. No.
No.
Never.
Alessandra.
Yeah.
Stephanie's an Italian name, isn't it?
Oh, I doubt it.
Stefani.
I don't think so. But you could say anything like that and it would sound fancy.
You can't say Tally like
You
that.
could stretch it out a little more.
Tali.
There you
No.
go.
That just sounds like a Jewish person saying my name. Because it's a Jewish
Accurate.
name.
Yeah, I think that's accurate. Every time someone calls you Tally, I'm like, no, that makes sense. Like, it checks out.
Tali.
Yeah. It's a
I hate
little more Russian, I feel like, Talia.
Exactly. My parents almost named me, it was either, my sister will be able to tell me, Natasha or Natalia, because it's like on a family tree somewhere, and I'm like, Thank God you didn't give me that name.
Well, they kind of did. Like, Tally is just short Natalia.
Well, Tally, yeah, I don't know if like that's...
That might not have been the intention.
Yeah, my dad always says the story of like how he named me because he likes to take credit for it. Mm. And it was like, because it means dew from the heavens, like morning dew.
Oh.
And like the actual Hebrew word for it is tal.
Oh.
Like Tal. And so it, like I was born early in the morning and my dad like saw, this is his story. I don't know if this is true.
Really kind of a nice story.
That's why I'm like, I'm going to choose to believe this. But he saw like the dew on the grass and he was like, that's the name.
Oh, that's kind of sweet.
Yeah, I don't know. My sister, whenever this episode comes out, she's probably going to text me like, actually.
Actually, I named you.
Probably. She used to tell me that she found me in a garbage can.
Well, that's a classic big sister thing.
That's what she tells me all the time too. And I'm like, it's mean.
I'm not saying it's not mean, but I definitely say the same thing to Kat.
Oh my God. These are so mean. Oh my God.
That's just what happens. My dad wanted to name me Phoebe. And I'm like, thank you for not being in the delivery room. Just like kick him out.
No, yeah. I love that name.
No, stop it.
Phoebe,
no.
Phoebes. And you're
Phoebo.
Such a Phoebe too.
No,
Phoebo.
I'm not.
You are. If it's a Friends character, you are 100% Phoebe. Your dad was on the money.
I disagree. But
Team Tim.
It's fine.
Team Tim.
Mom's like, it was Phoebe or Stephanie, and the doctor in the delivery room like was discussing names with Mom, and he's like, I have a sister and she's smart and kind and funny, and her name is Stephanie. She's like, well, that did it. Like, you didn't know any Stephanie.
I've never met a dumb Stephanie, actually, so that's true.
Oh, that's good. I feel like we're all quite well. We all think we're right if we're not right, so we try to convince us otherwise.
The other Stephanies I know, and they're all older sisters too.
Oh, that's funny.
Huh.
Well, I guess I don't mean younger sisters are weak, but it's like a firm name.
No, you do.
It's a very solid older sister name.
It is a very solid older sister name. That's funny.
Feel free to reach out, middle sister Stephanies or young sister Stephanies, but I've never heard of you.
Right? I don't think so.
I think that's apt. Anyway, sorry.
So yes, so Alessandra. No, not Alessandra.
I know, I say it like a white person.
Yeah.
I told you, I have no gift for tongues. That's the way you do it.
Well,
for a number of reasons.
She was born in 1976, and Allegra, also a solid name.
Wow, that one...
You don't like that? Well, no. I know it's an allergy medicine.
Yeah, that one doesn't do it. But she was probably around first. How old is Allegra?
1981.
Oh, okay.
Also, like an Italian name. I don't think they were thinking of like the decongestant or like anti-allergy med.
It also a little bit sounds like... What's that? Dysfunction medicine. Penile dysfunction medicine.
Oh my God. I know what you're thinking of. Whoever's listening is screaming right now.
Oh my God, is it not what is it?
It's not Allegra.
Penis medicine.
Google erectile dysfunction medicine.
Erectile.
It does sound like Allegra. I know what you're saying.
Dysfunction medicine.
And it's like a little blue pill.
Yes, and it's a joke. And Viagra.
Because it ends in
that's not even close then. I'm just stupid.
Allegra, Viagra. I mean, when you take out the context of Viagra, it is kind of... Well, no. No.
It's because the context has ruined it.
It is. The context has ruined it. Anyways, beautiful names.
Yeah. Except for that last one, we're not sure.
I like it.
Jury's out.
So in 1982, Maurizio and Patrizia decide to move back to Milan, but within 3 years, the marriage would be over. In March of 1985, Maurizio told Patrizia that he was going on a short business trip to Florence. He left the house with a bag. The next day, he sent a friend, to deliver a message to his wife that he wasn't coming back and the marriage was over.
Ooh, wow.
I don't know what the hell is going on in the 80s. Like, there's so many dads were just like, I'm going to go out and get some milk.
And or a pack of smokes.
Yeah. And they never come back.
Well, they could. There's no cell phone.
That's true. Brian always makes that a joke because I'm like, can you go get some milk? And he's like, what if I don't come back?
Then you might as well die because I need that
Yeah,
money.
I'm like, okay. It's fine. No, I'm just kidding. I love my husband. No conversation, no confrontation, not a conversation at all was had. Like, just no sitting down with his 2 daughters saying, hey, you know what, my dad had a lot of faults, but at least he did that.
Yeah.
He sent a friend with a message. So it later emerged that Maurizio had been having an affair with a woman named Cherie McLaughlin,
I hate that.
Oh, yeah.
I hate cheating.
American model who he had met at a sailing event in Sardinia.
As if you went from Italian to American.
I know.
I'm sorry, but
what a downgrade.
come on.
But you know what? It's like an American going to an Italian. It's like you want what's different, I guess.
Oh yeah, what's novel? Yeah, I feel like any cheater would say that.
Americans are so free and liberated.
Yeah,
That's my Italian
novel.
accent. Yeah.
Ugh. Cheaters.
Right. So their relationship had apparently been the driving force behind his decision to leave. Cherie McLaughlin later described Maurizio pursuing her relentlessly, even when both of them were still married to other people. So he tracked her to Clearwater, Florida. He called her every day, and he flew her on like the private jet or whatever that he had between continents to see him in Europe. Wild.
Yeah, but I feel like if you sent a plane, okay, I'll give you my time.
Yeah. Oh, now cheating's okay. There's a private jet involved. That's okay.
Yeah.
There's
I suppose.
there's a line. If you're interested in Stephanie, there's your in-way. You can let Neil know. You better watch out for guys with private jets.
Yeah, there's a lot of competition around here with private jets.
Oh my God. Okay. So whether Patrizia knew about the affair before that March morning is unclear. To me, it's clear.
It's pretty clear.
Yeah. But there's knowing something might be happening, and then there's having a friend show up at your door with a message that your husband is gone. And honestly, like, again, I don't condone murder. I'm not saying what she did is right. And
I'd be pretty mad too, though.
I'd be fucking livid. Especially if you sent somebody else.
Especially a friend I didn't like.
Oh my God, it would be a friend that they didn't
if
like.
you purposefully picked one that I liked the least.
I think it would be so funny if Neil sent Trevor. Because I think like you wouldn't believe him.
Yeah, I'm like...
Just in this situation, I was like trying to pick somebody that...
A Trevor. Any Trevor.
Yeah, a Trevor.
Any Trevor. I'm sorry, what's your name? I don't believe you.
Yeah. You're lying.
Please leave.
Oh my God, that'd be so funny. But I don't even know who Brian could send.
You don't have a Trevor? I just feel like it's a personality name.
No, I do have a Trevor, but I would be so confused.
I'm sorry to hear that.
He listens to this podcast. You're going to have to cut out this whole Trevor talk.
Oh, no. Really?
It's Rose's boyfriend.
You dated a Trevor?
No, I didn't date him.
Oh, I thought you said you dated a Trevor.
No.
Oh, I was like, this has put you in a whole new light.
Yeah, everything that we have said about Trevor, except for the Trevor, cut. Get rid of it.
Fine.
Anyways,
funny,
that is really funny. Okay. So, the identity that Patrizia had built, the name, like the Gucci name, the status, the access, the social position that she spent 15 years constructing, was suddenly under threat. Not just the marriage, everything. And while this is all happening in their personal lives, the Gucci company is simultaneously imploding in its own spectacular fashion. When Rodolfo died in 1983, he left his 50% stake in Gucci to Maurizio. And Maurizio, who had spent years working with his uncle Aldo, who knew exactly how the company worked, immediately moved to take control. He launched a legal battle against Aldo, and the family war, which had always kind of been simmering, turned into open combat. Aldo's response was to accuse Maurizio of forging his late father Rodolfo's signature on documents to avoid paying inheritance taxes. Whether this accusation was accurate or a retaliation or both is contested. Maurizio fled to Switzerland in 1986 to avoid prosecution. He was initially found guilty, but then acquitted on appeal. Here's where it gets extraordinary. Aldo's son Paolo, the one who wanted to be a designer and kept being told no, decided that the best move at that particular moment was to hand over evidence to the IRS that his own dad had been evading U.S. taxes for years.
What?
His own dad.
I've never been that upset with my parents.
Also, again, I know we've talked about this before. You're so rich, just pay taxes.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to know. It's so weird to me.
Yeah, no, that is weird. But they're already, like, they're held to a higher standard of life. So they're like, of course I don't have to pay taxes. Why would I?
Oh my God.
That's for poor people.
I can't.
Which makes no sense.
So backwards. I know. So Aldo Gucci, the man who had globalized the brand, who had put Gucci on Fifth Ave and Rodeo Drive and had made the name synonymous with Italian luxury worldwide, was then arrested, tried, and sentenced to prison in the U.S. for tax evasion. He served time in a federal facility in his 70s.
Oh, okay.
Because his son did that. Wild.
That's pretty shitty. How long was he in there for? Did he die there?
No, I think he came out, but I don't know. I didn't put it in here.
Oh, okay.
So by 1988, Maurizio was selling 47.8% of the company to Invest Corp, a Bahrain-based investment fund. By 1989, he's made chairman of the Gucci Group, technically at the top of the company, but with significant outside ownership already in play. His tenure as chairman was not by any account a triumph. He spent extravagantly on a new Florentine headquarters. He renovated the Milan offices. He threw money at his sailing yacht, which was a historic vessel called the Creole, in a restoration project that reportedly consumed enormous resources.
Why?
I don't know. Rich people things. From 1991 to 1993, Gucci's finances were in the red. In 93, the board had had enough. Maurizio sold his remaining shares to Investcorp for $170 million, and just like that, the Gucci family's association with Gucci was completely done.
That's awful.
Isn't that crazy?
Actually, that's a family legacy that you just got rid of because you're an idiot and greedy.
And like, really, in the grand scheme of things, $170 million
Compared
for your
to,
family legacy.
Yeah, to the bazillions you could have had in the future if you just held on to it and like managed your business properly or paid someone to run it properly.
Pay your fucking taxes.
Oh, that's bonkers. That's shitty. I didn't know it was still not owned by the family.
I'm telling you, I love the drama.
I would be so bitter. Bitter forever.
I love
if
dynasties.
I died in that family, I would have haunted some of those shops.
And
so
maybe
pissed.
they are. I think actually I read somewhere that they do haunt.
Good.
Or like they're anyways.
They should be pissed.
A tangent. So Maurizio walked away with the money, and then after a painful period, he started to build a different kind of life. So in 1990, he had begun a relationship with Paola Franchi, a childhood friend that he had reconnected with in St. Moritz. Moritz? I don't know. Again, it's a rich people place. Mm-hmm. Someone from before Patrizia, before all of it, and their divorce, like Patrizia and Maurizio's divorce, was finalized in 1994. Maurizio, by the accounts of people around him in the last years of his life, was actually very genuinely happy. He was free of like the burden of the company. Mm-hmm. He was free of the family war. He had a woman that he loved, and plans. Like, fuck his kids, I guess. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Ooh, sorry.
So he was 46 years old. Now, let's talk about what was happening with Patrizia during all of this. Because to understand what happened next, you have to understand the losses she experienced.
And how bitter she was.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So when he walked out in 1985, again, she lost more than a husband. She lost the entire architecture of her life. So she lost, essentially, the social identity that she built herself into. The friends that she had. She no longer received, like, prestigious invitations anymore. She was not shown the respect that she was previously shown. All of it was existing in a relationship to who her husband was and what that family name meant. Mm-hmm. So when she was separated from it, she like still used the name because she refused to stop, but she was no longer inside of the actual family.
Yeah. Huh. Wow.
So because she had 2 young daughters and eventually she had a financial settlement after the divorce was finalized, Maurizio agreed to pay her $1.47 million a year in alimony, which is an enormous sum of money.
Yeah, I feel like that's quite good.
Insane. But Patrizia's standards were not rational in the way that most people's are. She had been living at a level of wealth where $1.47 million a year felt like being cut off, which is fucking insane.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Sorry, like if somebody gave me...
Even in the past, it's not like today's 1.47 million. It's 40 years ago.
Holy shit.
60 years ago.
If you gave me like $5,000 a year, I'd be like, thanks.
This is magnificent.
It's a nice treat.
Yeah.
So she found out that if Maurizio married Paola Franchi, that alimony would be cut roughly in half, dropping to $860,000 per year. Which, again, I said at the top of the episode, a bowl of lentils.
Yeah.
Now, we can laugh because it is insane.
Pretty funny. It's pretty funny.
But there's also something in that quote that tells you exactly who this person is and how she processes the world. Mm-hmm. In her framework, she was being impoverished. She was being made small, and she was being sent down from wherever she believed she belonged. Mm-hmm. Maisie, don't do it.
She was desperate. Maisie and...
yeah. Sorry for any cat noises that you hear.
Wow.
There's also the matter of the brain tumor. In 1992, Patrizia was diagnosed with a brain tumor.
Oh.
She had surgery to have it removed, and she survived, but the experience was profound, and her legal team would later argue extensively that the surgery had altered her personality and her emotional regulation.
Oh, maybe.
Which, I mean, I wrote in here, like, whether this is medically true or not, but, like, when you think about it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
You're tinkering around in there.
Yeah. So then there's Pina. Giuseppina Arima, known as Pina, was a high society psychic and a very close friend of Patrizia's.
Oh,
she was a confidant.
Enter the psychic.
I'm telling you, I love this story so much.
Okay.
The person Patrizia called to process things and seek guidance, to talk through what was happening in her life. Pina had been in Patrizia's world for years. If one of my friends was a psychic, oh my God, you would not hear the end of me. This matters because the line between a friend you confide in and the person who helps you make catastrophic decisions got very muddied here.
Oh, okay.
And exactly when and how is made part of the eventual trial and makes it very complex. So what investigators eventually established was this. At some point in 1994, Patrizia made a decision. Maurizio was going to marry Paola whether she liked it or not, and the alimony would drop. She would be, in her mind, further erased from the life that she had built. And rather than accept that, she asked Pina to help her do something about it, which meant have him killed.
Ooh.
Rather than doing the sensible thing and walking away from that conversation or calling the police or stop talking to her, she said, hey, meet this hotel porter named Ivano Savioni. Savioni found the actual hitman, Benedetto Cerullo, a man who was drowning in debt, and he owned a pizzeria that was not going well. Which I'm like, oh, do you suck at pizza?
Yeah, pizzeria in Italy?
Yeah.
You must be bad at pizza.
It's like owning a burger joint here.
Yeah.
Everyone will come to you.
What are you doing wrong?
Yeah. Think about that cast for a second. An Italian socialite in Milan, her psychic, a hotel porter, a broke pizzeria owner with a gun, and Maurizio Gucci.
This sounds like a game of Clue.
I know. Like the best game of Clue. So then, my 4th birthday. There isn't a lot of dramatic setup to the morning itself. That's part of what makes it very stark. Maurizio leaves his apartment. He drove to Via Palestro. Everything was normal. He had no reason to think that it was a strange morning. He got out of his car. He walked towards the entrance of the building. Benedetto Cerullo was waiting, and he fired 4 shots. Maurizio was hit multiple times and collapsed onto the steps outside of his own office building. A doorman was also wounded. Cerullo and his accomplice, Orazio Sicilia, ?
That's a lot of names in this one.
I know. Waited nearby in a getaway car, and then they fled. Maurizio was dead before he could even be assessed. He was buried in St. Moritz, Switzerland, a place that he loved, a place that represented the kind of life that he built on the other side of the family chaos. In Milan, Patrizia Reggiani wrote one word in her diary on the day of her murder. Paradisios, Greek for paradise. She later claimed that the word referred to something else, a garden, a state of mind, something unrelated to what happened that day. And her legal team maintained this position vigorously. But that word on that page and that date became one of the most discussed pieces of evidence in that entire case. So on the surface, there are just too many possible directions here. And that's what made this case very difficult. So Maurizio had been involved in some of the most acrimonious corporate battles in Italian business history. He had forced family members out of a company they'd spent their lives building. He had sold the family name to an outside investment fund. He had made enemies in the Gucci family itself. Though by 1995, most of them kind of settled into like the various post-Gucci lives. Mm-hmm. He did have business entanglements, financial history, and the kind of complicated past that gave investigators multiple threads to pull simultaneously. Mm-hmm. And Serrallo had no obvious connection to Maurizio. There's no trail that pointed from the shooter back to anyone in Maurizio's business or personal circle, at least not initially. Investigators worked on the case, but for the first year and a half, it went nowhere. What broke it open was somebody talking. A woman, a former friend of Pina Arimia's, someone who had been in proximity to that world, had grown estranged from Pina in the wake of the murder. She came forward to investigators in 1996. She told them what she knew, that Pina had been involved and Patrizia had ordered the hit.
Wow.
So that testimony opened a door. Investigators started building from there, tracing the chain from Serrallo back to Sicilla, to Savioni, from Savioni to Pina, and then from Pina to Patrizia. The final transactions, the communications, and her diary. Then on January 31st, 1997, nearly 2 years after the murder, Patrizia Reggiani was arrested. Pina Arimia was arrested the same day. Serrallo and Sicilla were also taken in, and then Savioni was charged. I feel like I'm describing different types of pasta noodles.
It's just a lot of names.
You're going to have to cut that part out. That's super racist.
That's pretty good.
Like, oh my fuck, I like the names. I'm like, and I like know all the players, but the names are like intense. Mm-hmm. I know you're confused.
Yeah.
I hope the listeners are
not.
A
lot of names.
So the press called Patrizia the Black Widow. Her trial was one of the most watched legal proceedings in Italy for years. There was something operatic about it. The socialite, the fashion dynasty, the murder for hire plot with a psychic in the middle of it. The psychic man.
That's quite funny.
Is a cherry on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
The trial was also, in a way, a very human story. Here was a woman who had spent 20 years building a life around a man and an identity, had that life taken from her in the most dismissive way possible, and had responded by going to the most extreme place a person can go. Prosecutors described her motive as jealousy, resentment, and money. Her defense described a woman whose brain surgery had fundamentally altered who she was. The jury had to decide which story was true, whether it mattered, given what happened. Mm-hmm. So then in 1997, Patrizia Reggiani was convicted of arranging the murder of Maurizio. She was sentenced to 29 years in prison. Benedetto Serrallo, the shooter, received a life sentence. Orazio Cecilia, the getaway driver, got 29 years also.
What? Oh, really?
The getaway driver,
He
yeah.
didn't do anything. He just drove a car.
Ivano Savioni, the middleman, got 26 years, and Pina got 25. She did not see that coming.
Yeah.
But Patrizia immediately began appealing. Her legal team's argument focused substantially on the brain tumor, the position being that the surgery that she had had in 1992 had changed her personality, god damn it, Maisie, and judgment in ways that she couldn't control and hadn't fully understood. In 2000, an appeals court in Milan upheld her conviction but reduced her sentence to 26 years. So it wasn't a reversal or an exoneration, just a shorter number.
Yeah.
Also in 2000, Patrizia attempted to take her own life in prison.
Wow.
She tried to hang herself with a bedsheet.
Ooh.
And she was found by guards, but she survived.
Ooh, that's...
Yeah. Prison, by all accounts, was not a place that she adjusted to easily or gracefully.
I wouldn't imagine she would.
No. She maintained her sense of self and her sense of identity as somebody who did not belong in these circumstances throughout. In 2005, her legal team convinced the prison to allow her pet ferret to live with her in her cell.
What?
Yeah.
That's weird.
That's just, I needed to put that in there. I just haven't any bearing on it, but I'm like, that's the weirdest thing I've ever... A ferret?
They're like vicious creatures.
Yeah, they're really cute.
Like, I know people have them.
Yeah.
I've seen them at pet stores. And
they smell.
Yeah, well, they're a wild animal. It's like saying I have a porcupine at home.
Yeah. Like your emotional support ferret.
Yeah, I need my emotional support hedgehog. Like, it's
oh my god.
I don't know. That's odd. I guess As long as it doesn't hurt anybody.
Yeah.
And she used to be rich, but like these bills must be adding up by now. All these legal fees.
But like a pet ferret, like ferrets can like, they're like mice. They can squeeze through. Like, how was it in the jail? I have so many questions.
Did she think she was gonna like train it to help her escape?
I don't know. I mean, I know they like are kept in cages.
Or did she wear like a scarf? She's fancy.
Oh my god, maybe. That seems like a rich person thing.
Probably.
Maisie, I'm not gonna take you to jail because look what you're doing. I'll just keep talking until she keeps knocking that door.
Okay.
In 2011, she became eligible for a work release parole program, but she turned it down. When she asked why, or when somebody asked her why, she said, quote, "I've never worked a day in my life, and I'm certainly not going to start now."
While you're in jail, though, I think some things have changed. I can see why she would think that, but it's funny.
It's iconic.
Like you're getting a little bit of time to leave jail.
Yeah.
You choose to stay.
Like, I would literally do anything.
Well,
instead of jail? Like,
yeah.
cool. What even was the work that they offered her?
Probably factory stuff, like low danger stuff.
Just do it.
Yeah, that's fair.
There's a lot of things you could say about Patrizia Reggiani. But whatever you say of her, you cannot say that she was not relentlessly, consistently herself.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
She was authentic.
Yeah.
She was released in October of 2016. She had served 18 years of a 26-year sentence, credited for good behavior. She was 67 years old. She walked out of prison into a world that had moved on without her. The Gucci name was now a global conglomerate with no family involvement. Her daughters were adults who had their own lives, and they had very complicated feelings about her. Yeah. Milan was a completely different city from the one that she had left. But she did not disappear quietly. In 2020, she participated in a documentary, Lady Gucci, La Storia di Patrizia Reggiani, telling her own version of the story. She gave interviews, remained visible, and still publicly presents as somebody who believes the Gucci name belongs to her more than anybody else who currently holds it.
Okay.
I just love her. I know that she's a murderer, but
She got like quite a reduced sentence.
Oh yeah.
That's a bit nutty.
You'll never see me, and I'm not defending her actions at all, but you'll never see me talking about a murderer this way. But there's just something about Patrizia, I'm like, it's okay.
Just you do you, girl.
Yeah. Iconic behavior. Yeah. Then in 2021, Ridley Scott announced that he was making a film about her, House of Gucci.
Oh.
Based on journalist Sarah Gay Forden's 2001 book of the same name. Lady Gaga was cast as Patrizia. And Adam Driver was cast as Maurizio.
Oh, okay.
Patrizia said, yes, Gaga looks like me. But then she complained that Lady Gaga had not come to meet her before accepting the role.
Okay.
Lady Gaga said that she had no interest in colluding with Patrizia Reggiani.
Wow, good for her.
Both of them, in my opinion, are correct.
No, okay. She's Italian too. Like Lady Gaga is. Yeah.
Yeah, I think her real name's like Stephanie.
I'm
my god, I wonder if she's in Lady Gaga.
You're the worst.
Hold on.
Because she talked about like
Stephanie. It is Stephanie.
Oh, that's funny.
Joanne Angelina Germanotta. I can't italify or make your last name seem Italian.
No.
Young.
It's pretty. Yeah, and then my maiden name's pretty hard too. Like it's a solid name. I mean, yeah, because she in an interview for A Star Is Born, when she tells the story of when Bradley Cooper came to like talk her into doing the movie.
Yeah,
she's like, I'm like any Italian. I made him pasta, and we blah blah blah. I'm like, oh, okay.
That was your first guess that she was Italian?
It's just interesting. Yeah, well, she said, like any good Italian, I offered him pasta.
I'm sorry, I just need to know right now if she's an older sister or not. Because her name is Stephanie?
Probably is.
Okay, life and career. I don't care about your career.
Sibling should be right at the top if you're on like IMDb.
Oh my God, she is an older sister.
I told you, it's not a weak younger sister name.
No, they raised Gaga and her younger sister Natalie.
Yeah, that makes sense. Or Titalia, one might say.
Interesting. We're on to something.
Yeah, we got some more theories.
Huh.
Got bald man theory. That's Stephanie theory.
Bald man and Stephanie.
Yeah.
But we love bald men. There's nothing against bald men. There's a very attractive firefighter in our area that is bald.
Agree to disagree.
No, you saw him.
He's a little bit charming, yes, fine.
Come on.
With the hat on.
Brian was like, do you want me to see if he can come here for your birthday? And I'm like, do what?
We're going to ask him to do.
He's a medic. I'm beginning to have a medical emergency.
I don't think he's that kind of firefighter. They'll take his clothes off.
I'm like, in that moment, I'm like, my marriage is very secure. Oh, God. Okay.
Okay, so to sum up,
Anyways,
Lady Gaga,
yes.
real name is Stephanie, and she's an older sister, and we were right.
Yes. So, Lady Gaga. So here's a part of the story where it is almost perversely iconic. Gucci got better after the Guccis were gone. Which seems like it shouldn't.
Shame, though. That's a shame.
It really is.
Like at the beginning of the story, I was like, maybe I want some Gucci. Like if the family still, like it's kind of a neat, like almost a heritage thing.
I want you to look up the price when you're done.
Well, now I don't want anything.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, oh, they don't even own it. It's on the same trash.
You can maybe get a scarf.
Maybe. Like a discounted scarf.
I don't think they do discounts.
Maybe someone spilled juice on it and it's clearance.
Maybe. We're going to go to
Probably not.
Vespucci. We're going to see what kind of Gucci we can find at Vespucci.
Let's see.
So this was a company that had literally traded on a family name and family identity for 7 decades. The mythology of that brand was inseparable from the mythology of the family. Italian craftsmanship, Florentine heritage, and the grandfather who carried luggage at the Savoy and came home and built something. But the Gucci family had also for decades been a liability. They had lawsuits, tax evasion, the public infighting, Aldo going to prison, Paolo suing his own father, Maurizio spending the company into the red while he renovated his ancient sailing yacht. The brand had become diluted, over-licensed, inconsistent, and a little tired. It was still famous, but it wasn't what it had been. Mm-hmm. When Investcorp took full ownership in 1993, after Maurizio sold his stake, they made a series of decisions that turned the company around. Their critical one was hiring a young American designer named Tom Ford.
Oh, wow.
As creative director in 1994. The same year that Maurizio's divorce was finalized, 1 year before the murder. Tom Ford's Gucci became one of the most discussed, influential fashion brands of the 1990s. He took the brand somewhere it had never quite been. He made it sensual, directional, provocative, and unapologetically modern, and the world responded positively. By the mid-90s, Gucci was everywhere again, in the way that really matters in fashion, which is people who set the tone for wearing it and talking about it. Mm. In 1999, Gucci became a subsidiary of the French conglomerate PPR, which later renamed itself Kering. That group also owns Yves Saint Laurent, Balenciaga, Bottega Veneta, Alexander McQueen.
Wow, okay.
The sale price, The sale price was enormous. Mm-hmm. The brand had, in 6 years of outside ownership, gone from a dysfunctional family company in the red to one of the most valuable fashion assets in the world. Today, Gucci operates 529 stores globally and employs over 20,000 people. Wow. It generates close to $8 billion in annual revenue. It has a new creative director as of 2025, Demna, who previously transformed Balenciaga. Oh. And again, not a single member of the Gucci family is involved in any of it.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
Do you think any of them have tried to get in like low-level stuff? Or they wouldn't dare lower themselves to lower level?
Probably not.
Oh, okay.
I haven't heard anything. Gucci's shop on Via della Vigna Nuova in Florence, the 60 artisans, the belted leather bags, and the wartime canvas, all of it is now just founding mythology. Very sad.
That's sad.
So where's everybody now? So Patrizia is currently in her mid-70s and she lives in Milan. Since her release from prison in 2016, she's been consistently visible. Interviews, documentaries, public appearances, and she still presents, like I said, somebody who considers herself a Gucci by right and spirit. I identify as a Gucci.
Yeah, that's what I was just
She's
thinking.
saying.
I'm like, I wonder what I could identify as.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm just going to take ownership of something.
Yeah.
Allegra Gucci.
Here we go.
Maurizio and Patrizia's youngest daughter published a memoir in 2022 called Game Over. It is by all descriptions not a gentle book. She writes about the aftermath of her dad's murder and her mother's conviction with honesty about what it cost her and her sister. She married in 2011 in St. Moritz, where her father is buried, and she has 2 kids. She has been the more publicly vocal of the 2 sisters about what this story has meant to her to live through. Mm-hmm. Very younger sister move. Alessandra, the older daughter, has lived more privately. She is settled in Switzerland with her husband and their son, and she is considerably less present in media coverage. Paola Franchi, Maurizio's partner at the time of his murder, has lived with the grief of someone whose future was taken with no warning on a Tuesday morning. She gave interviews and participated in documentary coverage of the case over the years, and reportedly she was one of the people who continued to push for answers in the early period when the investigation had stalled. She has now stepped back from public life.
That's too bad. I feel bad for her.
Me too.
That sucks.
Yeah, it wasn't her fault. Benedetto Serrallo, the hitman, life sentence. He's still in jail. Pina, the psychic, was released.
Did she see that coming?
I know. I'm like, what are you doing now? You can't be a psychic.
Maybe she is, though.
But why would you do that to yourself?
I have no idea.
Mm-hmm. Ivano Savioni, the middleman, served his sentence and left. Aldo died in 1990 at 84, 5 years before Maurizio was murdered, while dealing with the fallout from his tax evasion conviction, so he died in jail.
Oof, okay.
So he had by then spent decades building something extraordinary and watching it be consumed by his family's inability to hold their shit together.
Yeah.
And then Gucci, like I said, is one of the most valuable fashion houses on earth, which is insane. I just it's very sad because when you think of Gucci just building something by literally just watching people.
And being so resilient.
It's so resilient. And then his family fucking ruined it, literally.
Yeah, that really, it hurts a bit.
Yeah.
The family built something and you just couldn't take care of it, you dummy.
The sentence I wrote in here was, everyone in this story wanted something that they believed was rightfully theirs.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Which is very funny, because really, it wasn't any of theirs.
No, and they did zero work or less work. My favorite part, I think, of this story was the cousin who tried to be a designer, but everyone's like, you're not a designer. You're not good at this. He's like,
you're actually really bad.
Yeah, I decided I'm good at this.
Yeah.
That's perfect entitlement.
I know. I also love that a lot.
I'm just going to do this now.
Yeah, people of rich families are just yes. And for now, or for us, I feel it's always a skincare line.
Yes. Or they just make up a job in the skincare line. You're just this is my new title. You're what does it mean? Nobody knows.
It's Haley Baldwin.
Yeah.
She had the skincare line, but they all do. And arguably hers was very successful. She sold her skincare line to Estee Lauder. Or I don't know, some sort of big company for billions of dollars.
Wow.
She's married to Justin Bieber. I'm you don't need to do that. But I see what she's doing. Securing her own financial interests.
She was a Baldwin?
Yeah.
Famous
not
Baldwin?
Alec Baldwin is her uncle.
There is a notification for Brian.
Apt timing. Yeah. Anyways, that was it. That was... I love Dynasty stories.
Yeah, it's interesting. Mm-hmm. I wish one of them held on to the company, just for nostalgia's sake.
Right?
But they all seemed inept, so...
I would be so annoying. I would go into a Gucci store. I'd be do you know who I am?
They probably did though, or they probably didn't even go into the store.
Yeah, and I also wonder do you wear Gucci?
Yeah, I don't know. What was so identifiable? It said.
Yeah,
so,
it is. It's very identifiable.
I don't know. We wear our own swag. That's very different, but. Kind of the same. I feel probably, especially because it was sought after.
Yeah.
They'd probably wear their own stuff, at least a little bit. When
you have babies, do you give them Gucci blankets?
Probably. They'd probably just have some.
Yeah. Just have it. The company just sends them Gucci things every year.
Maybe.
They should. That should be a deal.
Or you get something every year or something. I don't know. At a certain point, I have no idea. Because these people are so above what my pay grade would be.
Oh, I know.
It's unbelievable. So I have no idea what those very fancy high up people get.
I also wonder like how much money, like they would obviously get some sort of inheritance from like the Gucci family.
Something, yeah.
But like how much? Because I'm just nosy and I want to know.
I would hope that they were smart with their money and now they can just invest.
Like if you're getting married in like St. Moritz, Switzerland, I don't think that you're poor.
No, you're not super hard done by.
I got married at the Glenmore Inn in Calgary in a ballroom. Didn't even have a dance floor. Okay, so I think...
Ballroom without a dance floor? I don't understand.
It was like a room. Well, I was pregnant. It was a shotgun wedding. It was Christmas time.
Whoever can make it, get over here.
Literally, I was like, what's available? And they're like, this room. Like behind a
we
catering...
don't usually use this room.
Behind a catering hall.
We'll just clean it out for you.
I'm like, I'm not married in St. Moritz. It's very quaint.
Yeah. How fancy of you.
I know.
On a yacht.
It's so funny. I like ordered my dress online.
Aw, did you?
Yes. You had a rich person wedding, actually, if we compare the two. A destination wedding.
It wasn't as expensive as you would. Like, we definitely made decisions. I'm not down, like, we spent money because we were both working and stupid. But
yeah.
We all make our decisions.
It was no Switzerland.
No, it's true. Ugh, peasants.
Right.
Yeah, I wanted to get married. Neil wanted a wedding, so we had a wedding.
Done. That's so funny.
So he paid for it.
Yeah, exactly. As he should.
Yeah, he's welcome, by the way.
Yeah.
For the life I've given him.
Exactly.
Sometimes he listens to this podcast, so I wonder if he'll make it to the end of this one.
I don't think we ever say anything bad about him.
No, we don't say anything.
No. Okay.
Yes.
We're descending into madness here with Maisie.
That's true. And I can't believe it's 10. The alarm just went
Oh my
off.
God, yeah. Okay. Sorry for maybe ruining your day.